Hey everybody, it's Coach Matt over here at Primal Athlete Training Center, coming to you today with video number 6, and we're still working on the shot put. Basically, what we did in the first 5 videos, we showed you some tips, some common faults and corrections in the shot put power position, discus power position. We showed you how to properly finish the shot put throw and the discus throw, and we showed you how to get out of the back of that circle, how to cheat a little bit, and how to properly push through your heel to get the most amount of force possible to get your body moving backwards in the glide position. Well, today we're sticking with shot. We're going to talk about another common fault that I see. And it's really no fault of the coaches, it's no fault of the athletes. It's just what happens if you're not using proper form. And this is a way that coaches and athletes can see if they videotape themselves, or coaches if they're just watching their kids, they can see if something's wrong with their form, if this problem is happening. Now before we get into that, we want to make sure this Sunday, just 2 days away, you throwers in the state of Rhode Island have the perfect opportunity to get out of this really cold, nasty weather we have going on outside, to get inside of a nice warm indoor facility, and get some good coaching for an hour and a half. This Sunday, February 6th, 1 to 2:30, and next Sunday, February 13th, from 1 to 2:30, at the new indoor track up at Central High School. Same place you guys are going to be having all of your big championship track meets at the end of the year. Same circle, so you can get inside that circle and get used to it. And the same equipment, the same implements that you're going to throw. So it's a great chance for you guys to get some good experience in the facility, in the circles, in the warm weather. We hope to see you there. Now, what we're going to get to today, and the reason why I'm holding this real shiny 2.5-pound plate, we have to talk about the path of the shot put. The path that that shot put goes as you're holding it against your neck and as you're releasing it out of that circle. And the way that we want to picture this is, picture yourself on a plane right now. It's freezing cold outside and you're on a plane heading down to sunny Florida. Now you've got the window seat, and as you look out the window seat, you look down the runway and you see the runway is real bumpy, real hilly. It's got a lot of potholes, a lot of bumps in it, and at the very end of the runway, it goes downhill. Now, I don't know about you, but I would be real nervous sitting on that plane, looking out that window, to see the runway in front of me is a short, bumpy, hilly road. All right? If you're on a plane and you want that plane to take off, number one, you want that runway as long as possible. You want that runway as smooth as possible, and you don't want any hills or any bumps. You don't want that plane going up and down as it's trying to gain speed and take off. Well, the same holds true for the shot put. Right? When you're holding that shot put, the path of that ball should be the same as the path of that plane. You want it as long as possible, you want it as smooth as possible, and you want to accelerate just like that plane from slow to as fast as possible at the end. And the way that we correct this, and the way that we view this, is when you're in the back of the circle, you're in a low position. When you're in the middle of the circle and you're in that power position, you're at a medium height. When you're coming through, like we talked about in the first and second video, you're at a nice tall height. And when you finish, you're at your maximum height. So if you chase the path of that ball, trace the path of that ball, you can see you're starting here, 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 and then finally here in the back. So you're going from low, medium, high, highest. A nice smooth angle, a nice vertical path. Now, onto the faults and corrections. One of the most common faults that I see has to deal with not getting low in the back of the circle. What I see a lot of times is athletes standing up nice and tall, gliding, getting low, and then trying to finish nice and tall at the top. And what you see is the shot goes from high to low to high to highest. So it makes almost like a check mark. Now, imagine if you were on that plane and you looked down the runway and the runway was a check mark. I don't know about you, I wouldn't want to be on that plane taking off. The other thing that I see are the athletes who don't get low. They stay at a medium height when they're in the back of the circle. When they glide, they stay at that medium height in the middle of the circle, and then they go to their highest height. So they're going from medium to high. And while that's not as bad, that's not that check mark kind of shape or that check mark outline, because they're not starting low, their efficiency is not as good. So we want to make sure that we start low, in the back of the circle, medium, in the middle of the circle, high, near the finish, and the highest position at the end of the finish. Now you might be asking yourself, well, how do you do this? How do I make sure that I'm doing this correctly? If your form, if what we talked about in the first 5 videos, having your weight back over the power leg, getting low in the back of the circle, turning your feet properly, turning the hips and shoulders properly, releasing at that high point, if all that is correct, then you know that that angle is correct. If you're starting low correctly in the back, then the shot's going to be low. If you're in the middle of the circle, and the weight's back over your foot, then we know you're in the right position. If you're standing up tall, then we know that the shot is tall. And if you're finishing correctly with your body all the way forward, we know that you're finishing at your highest point. So you have to use this as a checkpoint for yourself. As you practice and as you go through your meets, your coach or you will be able to feel if you're low, medium, high, and at the highest point. Make sure the path of that shot is just like you want to see when you're on a plane. Nice and smooth and a gradual increase once they get in the air. Guys, don't forget, please subscribe to this channel on YouTube. You'll be getting 3 of these videos every week. Every day after you watch the video, the next day you can go out and practice what I talk about and improve your throws and correct any issues on a day-to-day basis. We want to make sure that you guys show up on Sunday, February 6th, and Sunday, February 13th, 1 o'clock to 2:30 at the new indoor track at Central High School. Between the 2 days, you're going to get 3 hours of corrections and tips and coaching just like you're receiving now. We hope to see you guys there.